Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. It's hard to believe we're already here. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I'm excited about today's show. We have a special guest, and we're going to talk about self-care today and just how gratitude comes into play with that and how we can use gratitude to really just celebrate all the good things in our life, really learn to appreciate what we do have and not focus on what we don't have. And therefore, in return, we get even more good things coming to us. So, again, I am Kylene with Rise, Shine, Smile, and I'm excited to be here today. I'm going to welcome in our guest, Tanya. Oh, hang on. I got to do this. I got it.
Hello.
Oh, hey, Tanya. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Thanks for being here today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I'm excited. Self-care, yes. We had you on here, was it December or November? I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
Yeah. But you were a wealth of knowledge last time and really inspired a lot of people to take responsibility for themselves and really create the life that they want to create.
Yes.
And so with it being the month of February, the month of love, I thought it was really important. We always, it's important to focus on others and share kindness and all of that, but we also need to take care of ourselves, and that comes with self-care.
Yes, completely agree.
Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit about what it is, what it looks like, different kinds, what you can do, and then how you can really start to implement that into your life.
Perfect.
Yeah, awesome. Hi, Wendy. Thanks for joining.
Hello.
Hope you're doing well. So what does self-care mean to you? How would you describe that to someone?
To me, it's not even like some people think it's getting a massage or doing something extravagant. For me, it's as simple as hydrating my body, making sure that I'm taking care of myself, to make my health better, to make me a better person, to be there for other people. If I'm sick or not feeling good or not caring for myself in any way, then I'm at home in bed and I'm not doing anyone any good anyway. So those more extravagant things are important too, but taking care of your basic needs, which some people put everyone else first, and I was definitely guilty of that. That's what self-care means to me.
Yeah, I
And
love that.
sometimes it is putting yourself first, because it's like being on an airplane. You have to take care of your own oxygen before you can help someone else.
Yeah.
I like to think of it that way.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I agree 100% with what you just said. I always like to say, you can't give from an empty cup.
Yes.
And we know when we have an empty cup or it's getting low, and therefore you don't show up the way you want to show up.
Right.
And you feel that internally, you feel that conflict inside that you're responding to these events that are happening to you, and maybe not the way that's getting you the outcomes that you want.
Exactly. And like, I've been there in the last few months because I had surgery, and then just all these things kept happening, and I had like nothing in the tank to give to anybody. And for the first time in probably my life, I was home and unable to like even function. And so then it's like, okay, I need to start taking the little snippets of time for myself to get to a place where I'm better, and then I can start taking care of those other needs. And this week, I traveled my grandma left me a house in Burlington, Iowa. I traveled down here to take a little bit of time for myself to concentrate on some business things, some self-care things. And in the past, I might have felt guilty about that because, I just, some people would be like, well, you left them high and dry. Nope. I am refilling my cup so that I'm a better person when I come back in a week.
Yeah, that's so important. And that kind of goes along with, part of self-care is taking 100% responsibility for yourself.
Yes.
Really showing up for you, keeping the commitments to yourself. And with that, you had to remove yourself from a situation that you knew would be distracting.
Yes.
To put yourself in a space that would allow you that time to really focus in on what's important to you for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, it doesn't mean that you are being selfish.
Right.
So that's something else we were going to discuss, some of the myths with self-care. It's not being indulgent. It's not being selfish. It's not being all about you. I mean, it is all about you, but it's really a requirement to show up your best self again.
And you can kind of figure out your own cues that you're not doing those things. Sometimes it takes a little bit of thought of, oh, I'm doing that again. I become short-tempered.
Mm-hmm.
I look like I have resting witch face because I'm so tired.
Yeah.
And then just am easily distracted. So those are kind of my cues. And I've been doing all of those for like the last month. So it's like, okay, it's time to go.
Yeah, exactly. Deep down when you're not showing up the way you want to.
Yep.
Yeah. And for me, focus is a big thing. I'm very distracted and almost like distracted in a way that I just can't get started.
Yes.
So for me, I know it's time to take my nap. I do take naps periodically throughout the week. And it can be 20 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer. I like to say I take 20-minute naps, but I know they're a little bit longer. But it does. It fills me up again. And then I have the energy to keep moving forward and I show up in a way that's more productive.
Yes.
Yeah.
I grew up with a very high work ethic. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but it was almost unhealthy the way I ingrained it into myself. It was on like 16 to 20 hours a day, every single day, and weekends. And a few years ago, that just kind of fell apart when Jay had his heart attack and then my health issues started. And I attribute that to the amount of work I was doing. And now it's like, okay, there's got to be some balance.
Yeah. And, you had the universe, if you will, whatever you believe in, that was your signal. That was your sign that, hey, I need to pause and reevaluate where I'm at. Is this the path that I want to keep going? Or do I want to rewrite my story a little bit as I move forward? And that's what you chose to do. And I love that about you. And that you're so open about sharing your journey. I think that's so wonderful.
I think that it's been shameful throughout the years to express weakness, express any mental health issues. And I don't go for that. And if I can help one person by telling my story or just being really open about my history, then I'm thrilled with that, because some people can just feel very, very alone and maybe not realize that they can be their own hero of their story. And I can't remember the word. Be there to speak their truth and not be afraid to do it.
Be authentic to themselves. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think that is huge. And shame is can be such a horrible thing inside. And then letting your guard down, learning to be vulnerable. That's where the growth happens. That's where the insight happens. That's where all the magic happens. But it's really hard to get there.
Yes.
For sure.
And even it can be hard to stay there too, because I've had some dark days in the past couple of months, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's look at this realistically.
I'm sorry if you can hear that.
It's
Can you hear it? She is dreaming right now.
Oh, Joey.
Oh, hi, Joey. She's doing some self-care. Yes, she is. She is out cold and she is dreaming. She must be chasing something. I don't know.
We may hear Asia eventually, but right now she's passed out too. So hopefully she won't bark.
Oh, yeah. Usually she's right next to you.
There's no room in this chair and she's not happy about it.
Oh, well, maybe. Well, she's getting her nap now. Erin wrote, wow, love that. Be your own hero of your story. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's really powerful. I mean, we are the only ones that can control us and how we show up in the world. And so why not give ourselves the best chance? We want the best for everyone else.
Mhm.
And we can show up and share our true gifts with the world. And Erin wrote, growth is simple, not easy.
Truth.
So true. Yep. Yeah. I mean, I think, and that comes along with some of the myths that I was going to share is
Mhm.
some people say, oh, I don't have time. I wish I had time to go for a walk, or I wish I had time to take a nap, or I wish I had time to do whatever it might be, go get a massage, whatever self-care is for you, or prep your meals, however it looks, right? But it doesn't have to be a huge chunk of time. It can be, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes here, whatever it looks like for you.
And in response to that, if you don't take the time, believe me, the time will take you. Because when you have nothing else to give and it affects your health, then there's no control over that. And that's not a fun place to be.
Yeah. Yeah. That kind of, I like that a lot. That really starts that downward spiral.
Mm-hmm.
And bringing in more of those feelings that we don't want, right? We want to have those positive feelings. We want to show up the best version of ourselves every day in every situation. We're not perfect, right?
No, not at all.
All of this is to give us grace. We really, and when you say give yourself grace, that can mean different things to different people. To me, it means being kind to myself, to meet myself where I'm at and know that where I am right now is okay. I say that in yoga a lot. I'm sure you hear that.
Yes. And to me, when I tell myself to give myself grace, it's telling me to knock off the negative self-talk, because it's easy to flip into that. I'm really good at telling my friends, don't talk about my friends like that. When they do it, not so good about it with myself. So I've been trying to get better at recognizing that, okay, you wouldn't allow anyone else to talk about themselves like that. So knock it off.
Yeah, that's powerful. And it is so important. Our thoughts create the behaviors that we have, our actions, how we show up in the world. And
yes.
And when we have that negative self-talk, we don't truly believe in ourselves then. And then that comes across in how we share our gifts with the world. And why not give ourselves the best shot and be kind? Because we are amazing. We are all unique. We're all different, and we all have different gifts to share.
Absolutely.
So
I tell people that when I go dark and I quit communicating, I quit participating in lives, I quit posting on social media, that's probably the biggest time that you should be concerned about me and reach out, because I'm in that negative self-talk mode.
And even you sharing that is a form of self-care, in my opinion, because you're asking for help, and that's important.
Yes.
So good for you. That's awesome. And so, we talked a little bit about like kind of what it is, what it looks like. There's emotional self-care. That is that self-talk. That is, saying no to things that don't really serve us. Don't say yes, to everything. Really evaluate it. And or, it's sleeping an extra 5 minutes, or it's having a cup of coffee, or whatever it looks like for you. Take care of that emotional well-being. Pause for a moment is really important.
And it could look like therapy.
Mhm.
I chose a little over a year ago to put myself in therapy because I had like boom, boom, boom deaths, and I've continued on with it. And I meet with her every 2 weeks, and it's awesome because it's someone who's not involved in my life, who I can bounce things off of. I could yell at, I can, whatever, get some really brutal feedback from. And it's been amazing. And that was a huge first step for self care for me, is admitting that I needed someone to talk to.
I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, counseling is so powerful because, like you said, you get a chance to come into a safe place with mutual respect. Everyone has the understanding that that is your safe place.
Right.
And as much as we love our family and friends, they're still personally involved. They're still not going to take that unbiased approach to whatever you're saying.
Right.
So they have, most of the time, they have your best interests at heart, but sometimes they don't. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just them trying to make the situation better.
Right.
And so that's huge. Counseling is such a wonderful tool. When
Yes.
it's used right, it's really powerful. So I'm glad you're doing that.
And now it's even easier. And I don't think a lot of people think about this, but I didn't want to go to therapy in my town because I live in a really small town, and the therapists in my town I wasn't really a fan of. So I called my insurance company and said I would like names of providers within like an hour, 2 hour radius that I can meet with on Zoom.
Cool.
And so telehealth has opened up a whole new realm of a way to get those services.
Yeah, because you probably, like you're saying, it's such a small town, might not have really ever allowed yourself to truly open up the way
Right.
you needed to keep moving forward. So that's huge. Thanks for sharing that, and I encourage other people to do the same. There's so many resources out there, and once you share what you need, you put it out there into the world, then people try to go to work and try to help you and
Yes.
make you aware of what is available.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of with the emotional self-care, there's the spiritual self-care, which we talk a lot about. We do our tapping in the mornings, which is huge. So for people who don't know, tapping is emotional freedom technique. So you tap on the energy points in your body, which is like the quickest pathway back up to your brain, to rewire any negative feelings you might be having and rewiring them to a positive state. And then it kind of goes to work in the background for you and your subconscious. It's really powerful. So we do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings most of the time. And anyone's welcome to join us. Just reach out to me or Tanya, and we can get you the link. It's just a half hour, but it's really powerful. At least, I think you find, I don't want to speak for you, but
yeah, just as an example, yesterday we tapped on putting January behind us and embracing February, or looking forward into February. And I've had several months that were bad business wise, and I just was in a kind of a headspace of being overwhelmed. And after that tapping, I'm like, okay, I am putting not only January, but December and November business wise behind me. And I was in the best mood all day.
awesome.
Becky talks about when she's getting a headache, she'll do one of the headache ones, and it's just amazing. And so I need to get better about doing that on my own since I have the app, when I need something, because sometimes it's just a matter of taking a pause, acknowledging what you're doing, and moving on. And yeah, tapping is very valuable to me.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing that story. That is really powerful. And then when you were talking about, how you released those months past, right? It just allowed you to focus on the present moment. And that's really the goal. That's what we have control over right now. And so that's huge.
Before I did that, I was just spinning about, what happened last month, last week, whatever. And that was not serving me, because I was never going to be able to move forward in a productive manner until we got it going. Oh, my camera is acting up.
Yeah, it's okay. I see your head. I can hear you just fine. So
Okay,
I'll keep
we'll just go
talking
with
to you. Yeah, and so there's tapping. Another thing you can do is meditating. Kind of all the same line, right? Even with yoga is really powerful. When you connect with your space in that moment, strengthening your body and your mind at the same time, it's really powerful. At least for me, obviously, I find it really powerful. Gratitude journals are huge. That's one thing I would recommend people doing to really take care of their spiritual health. Again, when we're in that state of gratitude, we're in a state of abundance, and therefore we have more to be thankful for. We start attracting more good things to us in our life, which is super powerful. And just, you're just really appreciating what it is that you have in your life. Tanya, do you use a gratitude journal or anything like that?
I kind of use the Volley channel as a gratitude journal.
Yeah.
And I've also been posting on TikTok a little bit. Yesterday, someone that's in the bariatric community, his name is Chaz, he was out for a jog and a run and he was doing a live. And so he was asking everyone, post what you're grateful for in the comments. And 5 people left. And it was just like, some people don't know how to do that. And so it got me thinking about intentional gratitude. Even if every day you think of, even simple things to be grateful for. The sun is shining. There's not a ton of snow where I'm at right now. Being thankful for things going on in your life. And when you do that every day, then it gets easier to be intentionally grateful. And I think that just helps your mindset overall.
Most definitely. Yeah. You can't have a negative feeling and really be appreciating what you have at the same time. It doesn't really work that way, right? So when you get yourself in that habit of finding the good in situations, and even with like failures or challenges, even that's an opportunity to come back to gratitude in those moments. Not to say that those situations, those events that are happening aren't creating those feelings inside, those negative feelings, because it sure does.
Right.
But to help you learn and continue to grow and move forward, coming back to gratitude and saying, okay, this is a lesson for me to learn something from. And, thankfully I have the ability to learn from this situation and I can keep moving forward. Whatever it is, when you focus on the negative, again, we were talking about earlier, you just spiral down.
Yeah. And it just breeds more negative.
Yeah.
And there can be bad things that happen that you can still be grateful for because they're a blessing in disguise. Jay fell right before Christmas and broke 4 ribs and was spent a week in the hospital. It was not optimal at all. He was in pain, whatever, but it also at the same time got him on a path of having some other things dealt with that he had been struggling with that he couldn't get in to be seen for. So you have to look at those things too, that just because something bad happens, it doesn't mean that it's fully bad or horrible. There's probably something that's good that's coming out of it.
Yeah. It's like when you have certain things that you want in your life and it doesn't happen, right?
Yep.
But maybe that's just the universe, or I keep going back to that. That's just my language that I use. But whatever people believe in, maybe there's just something better waiting for you. And having that mindset.
Sometimes I call them God moments. It depends. Not everybody has that belief, but the universe, God moments, whatever.
Yep. Yeah, I like that. That's a good way to put it. Do you have any other self-care things that you do for yourself?
Definitely the yoga has been huge for me because, as you know, 3 months ago, I could hardly walk. and that kind of helped me start rebuilding my strength. And now that I've lost some of my weight from my surgery, I'm moving better and things like that. So definitely that. I tend to take a little bit more time in quiet because noise tends to really muddle my brain. And I just recognize I'm like, okay, I just need to go be by myself for a while, or I need to go take a nap.
Yeah.
I am going to be starting to exercise more. I'm waiting to get in for physical therapy because I want to make sure I do it right since I had some complications.
Okay.
But then also, I just had it and it left my brain. Um, oh, and then I do some of the indulgences. I get my nails done, which that never used to be a thing for me, but it makes me feel better.
Mhm.
Um, Getting my hair done every once in a while. Love to have a massage when it works out.
Yeah.
And those things I try to use them more as like rewards for reaching a goal because I don't like to just go out and spend money on myself like that. But I am getting better about like if I need something like any of those things, or just a mental break, then I'm more apt to take them now than I was in the past.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. And for you, I love that you said that. Oh, you can put that up there. Um, Wendy wrote, self-care is a huge struggle. This is one of my goals for this year. Make sure to fill my cup so I have the energy to help others. Yeah. Well, good. I'm
Yes.
glad you're here listening today because this is meant to really help all of us. I think all of us at some point in our life have struggled to really take care of ourselves, and we know deep down when we're not showing up in a healthy way. You
Hmm.
just you know,
Yeah.
and so I love that that's your goal and that you're working and being intentional about that. I think that's a little bit about what we're talking about, right? Getting into these habits, putting these things in place, and then, like you said, taking away some of that guilt that used to come with it, right?
Right. Right.
And understanding the bigger purpose of why self-care is so important.
And
Um,
self-care can even look like going to the doctor and advocating for yourself. That was a word I was trying to figure out earlier, is
yeah.
advocating. I went for a follow-up yesterday for my blood pressure because I got off one of my meds, and I wanted just a small dose of antidepressants because I have seasonal affective disorder, and I knew that I just needed kind of a little bit of a boost. And he argued with me a little bit, and I stood my ground, and I'm like, no, these are my reasons that I want to do this. And old me would have just shut up and not gotten it. This me is like, no, these are the reasons. I have family history. I know my body. I know what's going on. This is my reasoning why. And then he was more than willing to listen to me.
Well, good for you. And that had to feel good after the
It
fact
did.
too.
It did.
Yeah. It's like you build that trust with yourself again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Good
Because
for
you
you.
know your body. Yes,
Yeah.
they went to school for that, but
Mhm.
you know what's going on internally or have a
Mhm.
gut feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. That's huge. Well, congratulations on being a good advocate for yourself. I mean, I think the last few months with everything that you have experienced, hopefully help you realize how strong you are and
Yes,
yeah,
definitely.
how you can advocate for yourself and others,
Hmm.
and just creating the best outcomes possible.
Hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, the other thing I wanted to talk about is, we talked about taking 100% responsibility for ourselves, and that's kind of
Hmm.
what self-care is all about. But surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
Yes,
So
that's huge.
huge for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
I
it,
I
your
agree
your
100%.
vibe attracts your tribe, and I've had to say see you later to some friendships that just kind of went by the wayside for whatever reason. No
Mhm.
no one was mad or whatever, but sometimes you just drift apart. And things change over time, or you might still be friends with them, but you don't do things with them as often. And those things are hard. But when you have a circle around you that is, along the same trajectory or has the same belief system, then that just seems to work out a little bit better for all parties.
Oh yeah. Yeah, most definitely. When you want people around you that are your cheerleaders, right? They support you. They look at the good in things instead
Yes.
of finding out the problems or the negative parts of things all the time, right? Because that just brings you down.
It does.
And then in return, obviously, these relationships and people that you have around you, it has to be a mutual relationship. It can't just be you giving all the time.
Mhm.
I'm sure we both have had those kind of relationships before.
Right.
And that drains you. And when it's not an equal relationship, it's really hard to keep giving. You reach that point where you're like, okay.
Yep.
And so really just evaluating who you have around you and spending more time with those that make you feel good and lift you up, and that you can do the same for them is huge. So yeah, thanks for sharing that. The other thing is, having things around in your space that bring those positive feelings, that remind you of self-care, that bring you that joy, that happiness, and all of that good stuff.
Yes.
So I wanted to share, you came up with this really cool line, and it's really powerful. I'm going to share here. Hang on, I'm going to add them. It's your choose line. Is that what you're calling it?
Yeah, that's what I've been doing it right now, but there are a couple others in there that are like your vibe attracts your tribe. And so there might be some other ones. The name might evolve over time, but choose has been kind of my word for like the last 3 years. Because when Jay had his heart attack, I literally had to choose to be happy or choose joy and do it as often as it takes. So I tell people that even if it was every 5 minutes, I would remind myself to choose happy. And it makes a huge difference in how you look at the world from that point on, because you kind of take your step back out of the fear of what's going on, or any other kind of emotion. And the thing is, you can change out the word after choose. So choose happy. This shirt has a whole bunch of different ones on it: self-control, happy, kind, gratitude,
Love that.
joy. So you can really choose those things and do them as often as it takes. And
Yeah.
that's really helped me. And I think that, if people open themselves up, then they can, take that pause, because that's what I do. I try to take a pause. I'm like, okay, you need to choose happy because you're going down a road where you're not going to be very pleasant,
Mm-hmm.
to try to alleviate kind of that.
Yeah, I mean, and think about like how powerful that is. That's a physical reminder. Like
Mhm.
you are in control. Hey, Darren, thanks for joining us today. Hope you're doing well. Like the whole choose brand. Yep, I love this one. Here, you can share it. Vibe attracts your tribe. You did so good with these. These are so much fun.
Thanks. And
What
that's
does
just
it say?
another.
Choose what you need. Um, I can't see that. I need my glasses.
Choose what you need as often as you need it.
Thank you.
And the one I have on that you can't see right now, it says choose happy, and it's in like spring colors because I really needed some spring colors. And then on the sleeve, I have as often as it takes on my left hand, where it's visible to me,
Oh, okay. Okay.
on a hoodie or something like that.
Very cool. I think these are so powerful. And like I said, it's the coming back to that physical reminder. So if you are in that kind of maybe a more negative headspace than you would like, or you're feeling like you're being spread so thin,
Mm-hmm.
you have these reminders. You're washing your hands in the mirror, you see your shirt, and you're like, oh, awesome. This is my reminder. I
Mm-hmm.
am in control. I can choose how I show up, and I can choose happy. I can choose kindness. I can choose whatever it is for you. So What a cool idea. I love
And
that.
sometimes they're great conversation starters too, because people will be like, choose happy. I'm like, yep, because it's an actual choice.
Yes. Yeah. I love it. It's really powerful. So if people are interested in these, they're not available quite yet, but they can reach out to you.
Yes.
And let me put this up here. Where did I put it? Gracie B Doodle Designs, but they also can just reach out to you at either a messenger, or I will, when they are available, I'm going to post the link. So people will be able to find them if you are interested in purchasing them.
They can also follow Gracie B Doodle Designs is my digital design business. We also own a brick and mortar store called the Visual Identity Vault that's on Facebook, and I can put them on there too.
Okay, let me write that down. Visual. Yeah, or you can leave that up there, or you can join the Rise Shine Smile Club on Facebook, or just on the general page, and then I'll post the link on there as well. And then this is the brick and mortar Visual Identity Vault,
yes,
as well. So it's really really cool. There's so many different ways that you can use these shirts as a symbol to make the best of the day, make the best of your moment, make the best of whatever headspace you're in. You're in control, and you can choose. Go ahead.
And there will also be some other items besides shirts, tumblers, coffee cups, keychains,
Cool.
things like that. I just hadn't gotten them mocked up yet. So
wow,
that's the plan.
Yeah, I love it so much. I think it fits perfectly in what we're talking about with self-care. And we need to set ourselves up for success. And so these reminders are huge. And like you were saying, the conversation starter, it allows you to spread this good, positive message with others. And then hopefully that impacts their life, and then they can share it with someone else, and then it trickles from there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so huge. Thank you. So again, stay tuned. We will make sure you guys are aware when those are live.
Oh, good. He put the Chipley link up there. Chipley is going to be where the web store is based. So it will be up there.
Thank you.
I didn't even think about that either. We just started using Chipley not long ago. So and I've just started to build stores. So I'm a little bit out of my element still.
That's all right. That's great. So we will make sure if anyone is really forgets about that link, we'll make sure you find out about it just by posting on here too.
Awesome.
So, yeah. Well, thank you, Tanya, so much for sharing a little bit about self-care and kind of what you do to really, this is part of your life now. This is part of your everyday life. And I love that you were so open to share with us. If anyone has any self-care tips that you use that maybe we didn't share on here, feel free to share with us. We're all still learning. I believe those of us that tune in here are really open-minded and willing to learn and grow together. So please share if there's things that you do that maybe we haven't discussed. And again, if you want to try yoga, there's chair yoga and there's gentle yoga, and that's a different way of more of a physical and emotional way of self-care. Quiet your mind for a little bit, come back to you, and strengthen your body. It's huge. So you can go to riseshinesmile.com and you can sign up for a free class on there too. So love to have you try it out. Is there anything else that you want people to know about self-care before we?
Just to be really aware of what your body is going through and what you might need. Because, like we've said, you can't pour from an empty cup. And sorry, Asia's now on my lap grunting.
That's all right.
And it's a great way to grow. It's not always easy, but it's definitely worth it. I've definitely figured out in the last 3 months since I chose to have surgery, to make my health better, that those other steps just fall in line with it too, and help the process. And I'm a much more pleasant person to be around when I'm taking care of myself.
Yeah, that's so wonderful, that you took, I don't know, you trusted yourself and your decision to do this, and you've just truly you've done the hard work, right? To take
Yes.
the steps to move forward. And you're showing kindness to yourself every day. And I love that. It's inspiring to be around.
And it's so important, because if you're not kind to yourself, how do you expect anyone else to be kind to you?
Yep. It's very, very true. Mm-hmm. Oh, you're so much fun to have on here. I love it.
Always my pleasure.
Well, thank you again for being here, and I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday. We will be back here next Thursday at 1:00 Central Time. Have a wonderful night and a wonderful week, and check out riseshinesmile.com, and be sure to be on the lookout for the link when it's live for those awesome shirts and gifts.
Thanks, Kylie.
Thank you.